You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado, free smoke. Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver, pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience.
Winning has a price, and leadership has a price. So I pulled people along when they didn't want to be pulled. I challenge people when they don't want to be challenged. And I earned that right because my teammates came after me. They didn't endure all the things that I endured. Michael Jordan is down in pain. Michael Jordan.
Yo, I can already tell you this one gonna be a long one, buddy. I gotta talk about game 2 for Miami and Boston. I gotta talk about game 3 for Miami and Boston. And I got to talk about game 2 that happened last night with the Warriors and Dallas. We'll get to the Warriors and Dallas last. Yo, what's good with it? Yo, before we get into it though, bro, I just some quick things. Quick things was on my mind. I don't know how many, you know, I'm just tired of seeing people on Twitter bitching about blowouts and shit like that in these games. Alright, so I'm finna bitch about people who bitch about that, alright? Because I can't for the life of me understand who is forcing y'all to watch these fucking games. Like, I'm looking at multiple, I don't even know if what you would call them. I'm just looking at a lot of people who got a strong Twitter following. You know, not really big name people, but just some people who, got clout on Twitter. Continuously. And this ain't no one day thing. Like, this done happened multiple games where they tweet, oh, another blowout. Oh, I'm so tired of blowouts. Oh, this is so disinteresting because of blow. Like, yo, shut the fuck up, bro. Because here the biggest thing. If your team was in this position of blowing out another team, you would not be saying this. Okay? If you had a favorite team that was in one of these situations, you would not be saying this. So that's my first problem with the people who keep bitching about blowouts. Because nobody bitches when their team is doing the blowing out. But it's always the people in the back whose teams done been knocked out who bitching about, oh, I'm so tired of blowouts. Bro, your team's no longer in it. Nobody's requiring you to watch. But for some reason, you keep doing it. Like, and it ain't just the dudes. It's females who want. And I don't never say nothing about this. But I am growing a little bit tired of these mid-looking females on Twitter with stupid to average NBA opinions or sport takes that get thousands and thousands of likes, who feel like they important in some shit and continuously say stupid shit for likes and shit because you got a bunch of 2-3-year-old boys on who just hit puberty in middle school and shit who think they gonna fuck them one day or something, so they agree with every stupid fucking thing that these females and these Twitter accounts say. Like, that is starting to irritate the fuck out of me. I'm not even gonna lie. And yeah, if you on NBA Twitter, you know who the fuck I'm talking about and the different type of accounts I'm talking about. Those accounts are irritating. Them accounts more irritating than burner accounts and shit like that to me. When I'm talking about burner, I'm talking about motherfuckers like Stephen A's burner, Mark Jackson's burner. Like, all these burner accounts is irritating. All these, like, Lamar Jackson's translator. All these accounts is irritating. I wish you motherfuckers would translate to figuring out how to get some bitches. Like, shit really is ridiculous, bro. But I just don't understand who keep forcing y'all motherfuckers to watch these games. Like, who is the one with the gun to y'all head saying, yo, you better watch this fucking game? Not to mention, y'all doing all this bitching and complaining when it's a blowout. And then when the game is close in the end, I don't see none of that tweeting. I see none of that. Like, bro, who is empowering you people who feel like your voice is like, bro, I'm all for people having opinions, bro. But at some point in time, people got to acknowledge when people is just irritating, bro. And these popular irritating ass opinions, bro, Like, somebody got to say something, bro. Like, nobody forcing y'all to watch these playoff games. All right? Nobody forcing y'all to watch them, and you wouldn't be talking like this if it was your team doing a blowing out. So please, 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 shut the fuck up and go watch something else. Nobody is forcing y'all to watch these fucking games. Like, this shit's ridiculous. Like, it's like they forcibly watch these fucking games just so they can say, oh, a blowout. Like, what? And then I hear motherfuckers, well, they gotta watch it. They don't expect it to blow. No. The way they talk, they basically done already tweeted up they tweet, and they just waiting for a 10-point lead to happen so they can say, oh, blowout. Like, bro, go watch something else. Go live the life that y'all have in these pictures, bro. Y'all be having such extravagant lives in these pictures, bro. Go do that shit that y'all be doing in them pictures instead of bogging yourself down watching these fucking games. If watching these games are such a burden to you, if these games are just doing so much harm to your mental, go live the life that y'all live in these pictures and videos that y'all post on social medias and shit like that. Please. Because I don't understand this who want to be the most miserable human being on Twitter competition that's going on right now. Like, I don't understand it. And then the next thing I gotta address, because I already addressed it on my previous video, I talked about the Naomi and Sasha situation, but yo, I'm constantly reminded about how irritating that WWE Twitter is, or WWE fans, period, bro. Because, like, and I don't even consider them WWE fans. I just consider them bozos at this point. Because, bro, and what, like, I'm all for people being able, like, walking out on a company, on a job. Mind you, that's on you now if you don't have something backed up or planned. But I'm all for people walking out if they feel like they done been misused, not respected or treated in the way that they feel like they've earned. Now, it's all about if you work now. You can't feel like you done earned it and you a terrible worker. But if you feel like you one of the best employees and you provide and do and give a lot to a company and whatnot, and you feel like they don't reciprocate that same energy, I'm all for you feeling like you got to walk out and leave. It's a completely different fucking story when you Sasha Banks, and that is just not the case. She has not been misused and mistreated in the WWE. You do not get to the level of a Sasha Banks if you just constantly being misused and mistreated in the WWE. Becky Lynch can make a better argument for being misused than Sasha Banks. And even Becky would not be able to get through with that type of art. Well, she would. They would with you bozo, idiotic ass fans. I just want to see y'all go ahead and quit y'all jobs that y'all feel like y'all been mean. Because it's funny how y'all encourage WWE stars and, you know, other people to quit. But y'all don't do that in y'all regular life. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. But let's talk about these playoff games. Eastern Conference Finals. Yo. So Miami got smacked around in game 2. They got their asses smacked in game 2. Marcus Smart was back. And that's the thing about the Celtics. The Celtics play great defense. And Jason Tatum had a great game in game 2. And Jimmy Butler, nobody really came to the party with Jimmy Butler. And, you know, I was reserving my thoughts on Tyler Hero and a couple of these guards on Miami. But I am finna let loose on these motherfuckers in a couple minutes. But game 2 of that series, I need to go back and relook at that stat. Because I believe in that game, Jason Tatum didn't really take a ton of shots, but he was hella efficient. And even though he was crazy efficient and he didn't take a lot of shots, I remember saying to myself, I wonder why Jason Tatum not taking a lot of shots. Like, because just seeing how Jason Tatum done played throughout his career, you know what I'm saying? Like, and some people might end up saying like, oh, he done become more efficient or he done become more cerebral in his approach. No, I don't think taking less shots equals more cerebral. That don't make sense to me. It's just like the other day, somebody said, why would Steph Curry need to be selfish when he makes so much money? And I'm like, making that much money and being selfish do not correlate. Like, those two things don't correlate. Like, I don't know who it is poisoning y'all fucking brains on some of these idiotic mind states and quotes and phrases that y'all live by or whatever. But yeah, y'all a bunch of bozos, man. But either way, I was thinking to myself, and I actually been thinking this a couple times. I see Jason Tatum in some of these games where he balling out, he's shooting a great percentage, but he don't look like he shoot a lot of shots at times. And then some, and I really want to get to the game that happened tonight. But Miami did look bad. Because the thing about Miami is, I'm not a fan of the guards of Miami, which tie in really to tonight. Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry was atrocious as far as scoring. Like, he could not score the ball good. And he coming off of that hamstring injury. He probably shouldn't even been playing, but they know they needed him. Like, Miami realized after game 2 is currently constructed, they cannot beat this Boston Celtics team 4 times with the team they have after that first and second game. Even though they came out and had a great third quarter in the first game of that series, game 2, they saw if these dudes got their full squad together, there's no fucking way we can win against this team. And the biggest thing I think was the Kyle Lowry situation, because Kyle Lowry just completely changes things for this team. One of the things that I really ain't, Miami in the offseason got to go get some guards. They got to go get a better guard setup. Because you can't bank on Kyle Lowry's health. Because I just cannot have players who get hurt throughout the playoffs, bro. That's the biggest moments for us. That's the biggest time of the year. We work all year to get to this spot. We get here, people get hurt. I understand freak injuries and things like that. But, excuse me, Kyle Lowry, an older player, I definitely would invest in a backup point guard. And Tyler Hero is not that guy. And I don't mean that disrespectfully. So, as a matter of fact, Hero's not that guy respectfully. Because what Miami need is a dude who can take the pressure off of Jimmy Butler. Now, what's interesting is, like I've been saying about Bam not being aggressive, he was aggressive tonight in game 3. Bam don't need people to set him up for his own shot. Bam can he kind of like a Julius Randle type of player where he can get his own shot or, post up and put himself in position to get his own shot. I mean, yeah, the point guard can get him easier looks here and there, but Bam can dribble a little bit. So he can get to his spots and whatnot to get himself a look. Like, he ain't KD, but he is talented enough to get to his own spots and get inside and, do the shit he got to do to get his buckets. That was my problem with him in game 1 and 2. He wasn't even looking to score. As soon as he get the ball, it'd be chances for him to drive, make a move. He immediately looked to pass it, swinging it. I'm like, yo, what is going on with this dude, Bam? Like, this is an all-star level player. A rare talent in the sense that he is a big man who's not a traditional big because he can dribble, he can shoot and do all those type of different things. And he's a great defender, like a bigger Draymond who can score. I'm like, yo, why is this dude just like not scoring? Like, I understand Jimmy Butler balling out, but just standing around watching Jimmy and not trying to enforce your will too. Like, hell, if Jimmy balling out, you should feel even better about that. You should be willing to take more shots and shit like that because you got that safety net of Jimmy Butler. So I was never understanding how he wasn't aggressive trying to score the ball. Like, yay, it's great that he can defend and he do all these other things well. We need this motherfucker to score. And that's the only reason they won the game tonight was because of Bam. Well, it was because of a couple reasons, but biggest reason was because of Bam. Picked the right time to be aggressive and score. And they got him going from the beginning of the game in game 3. Back to game 2, though. When Miami, their guards outside of Kyle Lowry is a problem. It's just a problem. Vincent, Strauss, Hero, all these dudes are far too inconsistent. Especially after game 3, bro. They take some of the stupidest fucking shots I've never seen from dudes who are not known. Bro, you might be a good shooter. You might be known to score a couple buckets here and there. Bro, you should not be launching some of the shots that they was launching tonight, bro. Like, it was a lot of reasons Boston came back in this game, in game 3, and I'll talk about game 3 more in a minute. But, boy, just game 2 and game 3 made me realize just how bad the guard play for Miami is at times. And overall, like, they have the worst guard play in the NBA playoffs right now. Like, it's no guards set in the NBA, in my opinion, that is worse than Miami's guards right now. And I think Jimmy played a 3. It's positionless basketball, so I'm never talking about Jimmy. I'm also talking about Vincent, Hero, and those types. For one, I don't think that they are like playmaker type guards. So they don't do much to set other dudes up. They're not good at anticipating things that the defense is going to do in order to, hit the right type of passes. When the offense is moving and is fluid, yeah, they can have some success. But one of the problems I realized with Vincent, even in the game that they won in game 1, was this dude take a lot of unnecessary shots. A lot of bad shots. He put himself in bad situations where he dribble into trouble and then make a bad move or a risky move to try to get out of the trouble. He take not even unnecessary. He takes shots that he don't have to, that he should not take. Shouldn't take. Unnecessary shots. He takes shots that he just should not be taking. Like, pass the ball, bruh. And I don't have a problem with players playing aggressive, like trying to search out their shot. But these dudes should not be searching out for some of the shots that they are searching out. They should be trying to get Bam out of body. They are not the all-stars. Them having good games is great. Vincent coming up the court taking your next 4, 5, 6 shots and he ain't even on a hot streak is a problem. Him going up the court searching out his own shot multiple possessions is a problem. Because that ain't who you paying to do that for you. Bam is the dude who should have been getting those shots in those games. That's why I had first kind of thought Vincent was a problem. And then I'm looking at Strauss and all of their guards. They just let dudes run right past them when the defense can't finish. Like, Miami's defense is great at getting to dudes and whatnot, but it feel like Boston done kind of figured that type of defense out. And so now they done figured out a way to get more one-on-ones and whatnot. And if Boston, like I said about Jordan Poole in that Maverick series, nobody on Dallas can stay in front of Jordan Poole. Nobody on Miami, aside from Jimmy Butler, to feel like, can stay in front of Jaylen Brown or Jason. It's kind of different for Jason Tatum because he got PJ Tucker on him. Most of the people who would feel like his guard and Jaylen Brown cannot stay in front of him or aren't staying in front of him because I feel like he keep getting matched up with Strauss and Hero and Vince. And I'm like, yo, these dudes, those three specifically, I'm hearing everybody talk about Luka's defense in the playoffs. Those three Miami Heat guards' defense is atrocious. They done hit a couple shots that's done kept me, and it ain't even really Hero. Them other two done hit a couple shots that's keeping me from saying, like, they are the worst as far as, like, all the guard combos left. But, man, it's taking a lot out of me to not, like, just go full heel right now on these three motherfuckers. And it's not really Vincent and Strauss as much because you don't really expect much out of two undrafted dudes right now. Like, I do think they need to calm it down with some of these ignorant-ass shots that they take. And they need to at least try to find ways to get other people. Like, I just think they are, when they try to be playmakers, it just go horrible. Like, I saw somebody tweet tonight, bro. Like, it's like 10 minutes worth of this game where every possession was just like straight carnage in that game 3. And I agree. And you look at game 2, how just unbelievably bad. Like, they got to go to a zone in Miami to protect multiple dudes on their team. That's what I'm starting to see. And it's amazing how good they play deep. And it's kind of starting to remind me of the Phoenix series, how Phoenix play great defense as a team. But as soon as for some reason the team start to slack off defense a little bit and they start to expose all the individual dudes who can't play defense, then the dams start to break and crack and bust and boom, we flooded in this bit. And that's kind of what it feel like when I'm looking at it. I'm just saying, they done a lot of great things. They done played good for Miami up to this point. But Jesus Christ. And then I would throw Victor Oladipo in there if not for the fact that Victor Oladipo is a great defender. Oladipo's defense is the only reason I'm not putting him in that category with them. And Kyle Lowry's defense, not just his defense, but his defense, his leadership. Kyle Lowry don't want a championship. I'm not finna disrespect Kyle Lowry. All right? Plus, he's coming off a hamstring injury. Like I said, probably shouldn't have been playing. And I will continue to say, Kyle Lowry's leadership is what I care about. As long as he is being a leader and doing what I feel like he should be doing at the end of games and in games, I'm not finna be bitching about his scoring. Would it have been nice if he had been able to hit a couple shots? Yes. But I also think the dudes around him are, like, the system is so bad at times for Miami. Like, bro, Boston should have won game 3. They should be up 2-1 right now. We hopping away from game 2 and hopping to game 3. Miami took a 26-point lead in game 3. And then in the second half, Jimmy Butler had inflammation in his knee, so he didn't return in that game. You had a lot of theatrics in the second half by Tatum and Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart probably really was hurt on his little theatrical thing. I find it funny how Marcus Smart flopped the way he do. And then it's just so natural to think that he flopped on when he even was on the ground screaming and whatnot. Then he come back out and people was like, oh, see, I told you he was flopping. But it did look like his knee bent, his ankle like bent in a crazy way. I don't know what was going on with the Tatum thing. All I know is them theatrics. I understand people who like, oh, they had to fake some injuries. Like, because I started to feel that way in the NFL, even though we all know in the NFL that's facts. Motherfuckers be like, go down, fake an injury. That's why they started taking timeouts from the teams for that bullshit. Got dudes faking injuries for a play and then coming right back the next fucking play. Like, what, bro? You just was on the ground rolling around. Oh, the clock stopped, so that's why you was doing that. See what I'm saying? So when you I understand some people saying it, but I think tonight was just and I really hate doing this. The game 3 of this, man, this was a poorly officiated game. And I really don't think the officials done been good in neither of these two series so far. And it's pretty wild to think that the refs in the Golden State series haven't been good. And these motherfuckers is in Golden State. But I told you, that home court not supposed to mean you get advantages from the refs. And tonight you couldn't have told me that. But the interesting thing is, I'm looking at this Boston game tonight. And I don't want to go there, bro, but the fucking refs. Like, the ref, it's almost like these motherfuckers legitimately get dressed. And when they getting dressed, they're like, oh, man, I'm finna have a great night tonight. I'm finna ball out tonight. It's like they think they the players, like they the show or something, bro. And I can't understand for the life of me why they do this, bro. Like, the officiating on the end of Miami, to me, was so bad, bro. Like, so bad. And you can see it in the free throw difference. You can see it on these ridiculous charge calls that Miami kept getting, or these loose ball fouls Miami kept getting compared to Boston not getting called for none of that. They kept getting the charges. Like, I was just very confused. You got Vincent getting called for extending his arm. Jaylen Brown is extending his arm and throwing elbows left and right to get space. Never calling them. So I'm very confused as why the NBA, I keep saying it, the NBA keep allowing this bullshit to transpire. That's the only reason this could continuously happen, is because the NBA will not check these fucking refs. It's like the refs is above everybody in the fucking game, like they God or something. They can't be talked down upon. They can't be critiqued, punished, or nothing like that. So it's pretty wild. But yeah, this was a the people who mad at me for going at people who bitch about blowouts, well, you can be mad. You can get mad at me for bitching about refs, because I'm just over the refs in the NBA, man. Like, dead ass. I'm looking at this game, bruh, and I'm looking at this new dumbass foul that they keep calling on people when somebody get hit in the face by somebody going up for a regular shooting motion, bruh. That's a foul on the offensive player. I don't care if he got hit in the face, bro. Like, it got called on Steph the other night. It got called on Bam tonight. It done been called on multiple players throughout the playoffs. Oddly, was not called on the Celtics tonight. It was a play where Bam, they swiped down on Bam. And he did hit the ball, but he also slapped Bam's arm and hand. They said he hit the ball first. They took the foul away in reverse. Now, I might be tripping, but the only other player on the team that can remember that had calls reversed on them, aside from the Celtics, is the Mavericks with Luka. And when they did that shit for him, I was like, I don't know how you reverse that, because he did not go straight up. He jumped right into this motherfucker. That should have been a foul. You come back to this game, Bam, jumps straight up. He goes vertical. The same thing that they said was the reason Luka didn't get called, which was not true. Luka clearly did not go vertical. Bam goes vertical. Bam gets called for the foul. You got calls in the Mavericks series when Steph trying to guard somebody, where they called a foul before the dude even touched Steph. You had calls tonight. They calling fouls on Heat players before the Heat players even are in defensive positions to guard somebody. Before the first bump happens, it's called a foul. I'm not understanding these anticipation whistles for fouls. It done happened in the Heat series. I mean, this series. It done happened in the Warriors series. Multiple times you can go and watch this this Warriors series where they done called Steph or other dudes for fouls before they even fucking foul them. Like, it's like anticipation. Like, they anticipating they gonna foul them, so they go ahead and call it. Not understanding it. That's those type of whistles why people keep saying, oh, the NBA rigged. Because those whistles I just cannot understand. And I don't understand most of these whistles. But it's even people on Twitter who like, bro, how are you calling some of these fouls, bro? He not even in position yet. Like, the play ain't even started. It's 2 seconds into play and you just called a foul. The motherfucker ain't even touched him yet. They did that shit again. They've been doing it throughout the playoffs. So the officiating is just god awful. Obviously, you can't really do anything major right now because a couple games away from the finals. The season about to commence. However, they have to have something done with these NBA officials at the end of the season. These motherfuckers are making games about them. Now, shout out to Miami because they still found a way to win this game. But Miami got screwed on so many fucking calls in this game. It was ridiculous. I cannot tell you how many loose fucking ball fouls they was called for. And what I don't like is how Miami is not allowed to play physical, but Boston is. And it really feel like the referees sit around all day looking at ESPN and shit, and they be like, oh, well, Boston, they telling us Boston play physical defense, so we'll let Boston get away with some shit. But they don't say the Heat play physical defense, so we got to call them when it look like they getting too physical. Like, it dead ass feel like sometimes that's what's happening. Because it's no way that you can call Bam Adebayo for trying to bang for position down low on Marcus Smart, and Marcus Smart clearly just flopped his way into a foul. And I thought it was a rule against this flopping shit, bro. What happened? Because Marcus Smart flopped so many fucking times tonight. But you cannot call that foul when he's trying to bang for position down low. But then you allow Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to bang for position and throw elbows and shit to get it. And then you don't call it. You don't call an offensive foul on them for doing that, but you call one on Bam. Like, that just makes no sense to me. Like, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown do the banging down low. They try to get the mid-range banging when they trying to do the post turnaround shots and shit. No calls for fouls. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown throwing elbows, pushing dudes off left and right. I don't see a problem with it with some of the times they do it. Now, sometimes Jaylen Brown do get a little heavy with the throwing his shoulders, and I understand those calls, but they wasn't even calling those shits. Like, they dead ass was, and then it was even a part of this game where where Jeff Van Gundy was like, yo, now we just starting to get bogged down by the calls. Like, I can't even remember the complete thing he said, but he basically was talking about how the game done been slowed down and keep going to stoppages because of these whistles and shit. But it was like fouls on Miami. And then on top of the bad officiating against Miami, Miami's guards were terrible. I tweeted, if Kyle Lowry and Bam can't figure out how to bring this game home, like, they're gonna lose. Because I was like, the other guards on this team are so fucking bad. Which is why I say Tyler Hero is not it, respectfully. Because Tyler Hero has been bad this series. He was god awful tonight. And I don't want to hear nobody blame no fucking injuries on why he was so bad, bro. That man, when Jimmy Butler, like, for one, so one of my biggest problems with Tyler Hero is I don't know how you have Bam and Jimmy and you don't average 20 points consistently, because those two dudes will consistently get the tougher of the looks and whatnot. Also, Tyler Hero, to me, running off of screens and whatnot and trying to get that shot off over them screens, his form is just not good enough, bro. It always looked like he rushing that shot. He just throwing up prayers and shit like that. Tyler Hero is not I don't know what's going on, if this just ain't usually. Tyler Hero has been bad in this series, and I don't understand why he has been as bad as he is. I understand Boston's defense. He done miss shots that he should easily be making. He done rush shots that he shouldn't be rushing. Like, Tyler Hero has just not been good in this series, in my opinion. And on top of him not being good offensively in this series, Tyler Hero ain't good defensively in this series. And tonight, to me, it was no choice other than to bench him. Because when Jimmy goes down, and then Kyle Lowry is out, and then Bam need a break. For one, he did not make the game any easier for Bam Adebayo, because the defense was really not as concerned with him as they were with Bam. They just had one person dealing with him most of the time, or they switched, and boom, you could deal with him. Bam was the real issue. Jimmy is the real issue. Hell, I saw them put more effort in the guard and Kyle Lowry at times, because it was very clear towards late in this game that motherfucker Tyler Hero, he even had like a 2-shot little run he went on where I guess motherfucker was like, okay, maybe he finna do something. Not me. I was not fooled by that, because everything just felt off. Nothing felt fluid, bro. It felt like he was playing a game that really wasn't him, bro. I don't know what it was. It felt either he was rushing everything, or he was rushing everything in his head. Like, it just wasn't a good game to me. This is one of the worst games I done seen a player play, to be completely honest with you. And it just wasn't because he was missing shots. It just don't feel like he was really doing nothing really good. Like, I dead ass thought to myself, like, late in this game, when is he going to be benched? Like, I kept thinking that to myself, like, what is Eric Spoelstra still have him on the floor for? You done got past the I'm going to give him, keep trusting him point. Like, he is just getting worse. Like, the reward for you trusting him was them 2 shots he hit. From this point on, you got to bench him and put somebody else in. And it's a great thing he put in Oladipo for him, because at least Oladipo gave you defense. Tyler Hero ain't giving you defense or offense. Victor Oladipo couldn't score to save his life, which I can't understand, because Victor Oladipo, I guess the injuries just done shot this man's offense, but defensively he was great. Tyler Hero, bro, I don't know what's going on with this motherfucker, but dead ass, that was one of the worser playoff performances I done seen from somebody. Like, every shot he hit was a clank. Every shot was a clank. Nothing looked good. I mean, everything was rushed. It felt like he was making the game way harder for himself. He didn't make smart basketball decisions, in my opinion. Some of them bad shots, like, and then you got this one dude launching up half-court shots damn near with 7 seconds still on the clock and shit. Like, to me, the guards for Miami, if Jimmy Butler does not return in this series, it's no shot they win another game in this series. Because Bam is great. As much as I like Bam, and I think Bam, he should be doing this on a regular basis, they could just start to lock in on Bam. Because Kyle Lowry going to have to prove to me he can score if I'm going to have to. Like, I trust his leadership. I trust he can get dudes where they need to be. He got that dog in him. He going to play defense. He going to take charges and all that. That's the beauty in Kyle Lowry. He going to set the offense up. The team look way better when it's Jimmy, Kyle Lowry, and Bam starting. Tyler Hero, for the people who keep trying to preach that he deserved to be the starter or yada, no, he does not, bro. Y'all think that Duncan Robinson is bad because he don't play no defense, and bro, they probably would have had more success starting Duncan Robinson tonight, and they won the game. But they probably would have done better if Duncan was starting over Tyler Hero, because even though Duncan Robinson been missing shots in this series too, and I even said at one point in time watching the series, I'm like, because Mark Jackson was like, I know he missed it, but that's a good shot shooting off the screen. I was like, man, fuck him, man. He supposed to hit that shot, bro. Like, he literally wide open. For a shoot, J.J. Redick drilling that shot every time, bro. Like, they literally play the J.J. Redick role and cannot hit threes like J.J. Redick, bro. And that's all they supposed to be able to do. And if you cannot use Tyler Hero the way they've been trying to use him, then I really don't know what you do with him. Because at the times where they let him try to ISO people out, he cannot get past anybody. Like, he rarely blow past somebody with his ISO moves. He usually gets stuffed or stopped when he try to ISO. Refs do not call fouls for him. Even at times where he getting fouled, they don't give him the foul call. I don't know what it is, but this ain't the bubble, buddy. Tyler Hero has been terrible in this series right now. And that's why I didn't say that Tyler Hero need to play better for them to win this series. Bam needs to play better for them to win this series. Because to me, Tyler Hero is interchangeable. I don't know what it is about Miami making dudes look way better than they are, or fans blowing. Just off of what I'm seeing right now, Tyler Hero don't bring nothing to this team that some 6-man or a bench role player couldn't bring to this team right now. As a matter of fact, I think they got 3 dudes who play way too many minutes on this team right now for Miami. Vincent, Strauss, and Tyler Hero. Them motherfuckers play way too many minutes. The problem is they don't have anybody who could replace them 3 motherfuckers, which is why in the offseason they have to go get better 2 guards and 1 guards. Like, they have to be on a mission to get a better backup point guard who could be a starter. And they got to go get some better role players, bro, because I just don't think, and maybe Strauss could be, and I saw them talking about how Strauss got better defensively. I saw them talking about that during the game while he was getting torched during the game. Like, and I ain't even mad at Strauss for the block that he had when he was going down, even though I agree with Jeff. Like, I'm so sick and tired of these refs stopping fast break points for Miami, calling fouls on Miami. Miami couldn't score on the fast break because every time they tried, the refs called a foul on Miami. And then when they didn't call a foul on Miami, that's when they should have called a foul for Miami. It was a point in this time where Strauss was going up for a layup and Brown blocked it. But Brown also used his other hand to lift off of Strauss, basically pushing Strauss down, who was the one attempting the layup, to give himself the leverage to block it. That is a clear foul. They did not call the foul. Shit like that was happening for Boston all night, which is why Boston, and I knew this was going to happen in the third quarter when the game slowed down a lot and it felt like everything was fouled. Boston was going to the free throw line every other fucking possession. I knew that was going to eventually lead to this, especially without a Jimmy Butler, because when the game slowed down like this and the team started to score points without the clock moving to get back in the game and you don't have your scores anymore. And to me, Miami without Jimmy Butler and this Tyler Hero, this is when Tyler Hero is supposed to step up and be the second dude to Bam. And he just wasn't. And so to me, I understand people liking Tyler Hero, and I think Tyler Hero is a good player. I don't think he's nowhere near a great player, and I also don't think he is somebody who should be, like, I could care less about the paying people. I'm never going to hop into the pockets, but I don't think that he's somebody they should be, like, building around or, like, putting too much stock in. Like, I'm not saying and I think he won 6 man of the year. I don't think he nowhere near as good as Jordan Poole. I think that's my problem. Jordan Poole, and I wasn't never even thinking about this when people was doing these Jordan Poole is so far and away the better player compared to Tyler Hero that if Tyler Hero did win that comeback play, that 6 man of the year or whatever that award is, that is ridiculous because he ain't better than Jordan Poole. He don't dribble better than Jordan Poole. I know people want to believe because he do this little things when he dribbling all these hezzies when he trying to dribble and whatnot that means something. It don't, because he don't get past most of his defenders. He cannot, he can get his shot sometimes. He don't get his shot as frequently as Jordan Poole can get his. Jordan Poole is a far better ISO player. Nobody in these last couple series, in this Maverick series especially, can stay in front of Jordan Poole. And neither one of these dudes done hit their apex or nothing like that. Because when Jordan Poole becomes fleshed out, nobody will probably be able to stay in front of this motherfucker. He puts some on weight on him and whatnot. He got a phenomenal inside layup package to get to the rim. That's not Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's not a better shooter than Jordan Poole. Like, Tyler Hero is, and neither one of them play good defense, but like, I dead ass don't see. I would prefer to have, now obviously I'm a Golden State fan, so you could be considering me biased, but Kevin Looney bring more for his team than Tyler Hero bringing for the Heat right now. Like, I just think Tyler Hero is expendable. Dead ass. Or his role I dead ass was watching these games, the last 2 games, thinking to myself, Tyler Hero, Vincent, and Strauss should not be playing this many minutes. Dead ass. And the only reason you can get away with it sometimes is if you have Jimmy, Bam, and Kyle on the floor doing their thing. Because them 2-3 motherfuckers on the floor at the same time, especially if they on the floor at the same time, that's looking for trouble, like the old Kanye West Good Friday track. That's looking for trouble. Because I dead ass, bro, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, bro. I just don't think that neither one of them 3 motherfuckers should be playing 20, 30, 40 minutes a game. Like, maybe you could convince me to get them at 20 here or there, one of them. But I just think Tyler Hero was atrocious tonight. I think Vincent had his moments where he hit some shots and whatnot. But to me, I don't think he done been good. I don't think Strauss been good. I think they take a lot of bad shots on top of that. And I think if Kyle Lowry was not as good as he is, they probably still end up losing this game, even with Victor Oladipo playing great defense and with Bam doing what he did tonight. And see, that's my thing also. Bro, I wouldn't even care if Tyler Hero was struggling the way he Tyler Hero's defense, as bad as it is, if you're known to be a scorer, bro, you got to score. Victor Oladipo is at least holding up his end of the bargain on the defensive side of the ball. Tyler Hero's doing nothing for you right now. He's not a playmaker. Like, I just don't. I've been watching these 3 games. I done watched all 3 of them, bro. And I'm just not impressed with Tyler Hero in this series. I just don't think he done had an even halfway decent series, to be honest with you. And I think Miami's guards are atrocious. And if, aside from Kyle Lowry and Victor Oladipo, and if they do not have Jimmy Butler back, they will not win another game in this series, even if Bam go out there and do what Bam do. Because I don't expect that the Celtics... Now, listen, I expected that the Celtics was going to drop one of these games at home because unlike the Warriors, the other 3 teams in the playoffs are not championship winning teams. So I expected that they would all give up a game. Like, I'm expecting that Dallas is going to split that home series in Dallas. If Dallas bring home both of those games in Dallas, they win both of those, I will be shocked because the Warriors are a team, to me, is the only team that's championship that can figure out ways to keep it going and win those home. They haven't lost at home yet. That is very important. All these other teams done lost a game at home. It's very important to win your home game. So, as good as these 3 teams is, or 4 teams are, I thought 3 of them, as good as they are, they could still lose games at home. So I didn't think that Boston was going to take both of their home games. However, in saying that, it won't matter if Jimmy fucking Butler ain't healthy. Because Miami here, it don't matter. However, even with that injury, it still wasn't shocking because, bruh, I understand people want Jason Tatum to be a superstar right now, and to me, he is just a budding superstar, but he is a star right now. And Boston do have the better all-around team. They still young, bro. I still understand they prone to making bozo behavior type mistakes. It just is what it is. And so, knowing that, Miami was always going to have a chance. Now, after watching this game, that should tell people how important Jimmy Butler is to this team. Because, and the greatest thing they did in this game was getting Bam going in the beginning of the game. Because if they didn't get Bam going in the beginning of the game, he would not have been able to do what he did at the end of the game. He wouldn't have been as confident, and he wouldn't have been ready to score. That's why I agree with Jimmy when he said one of the parts that he got to do better is sacrificing some of his shots to get Bam some of those shots. Even though I think Bam have to be aggressive and hunt for shots, when you are the top 2 players on your team and you are relied on to be scorers, you have to hunt shots, bro. It's different if you have a team that's got all different type of weaponry. You run a system that can get everybody involved. That's completely different. Then I understand sacrificing shots because you want dudes to constantly be getting their touches. Like, I get Steph Curry sacrificing shots because if you get Clay going, Jordan Poole going, Wiggins going, and then you get going, then that's a nightmare. You're not losing that game. But if only you going and you got everybody standing around watching, which is the beauty in Golden State system, that nobody is standing around watching. Everybody is constantly moving and cutting. Because these 2 teams don't necessarily do that at all times, you do find these teams playing a lot of ISO ball, especially Boston. I think that if they did run that Golden State type of system, that would benefit anybody, but especially if you had the personnel. But what was I getting to? Completely forgot. You see, if my cousin was here right now, he'd be like, "Oh, that's the weed right there. You forgot because you smoke so much weed." All right, buddy. I'm also here to say pickles do not belong on a chicken sandwich. Yo, Miami's guards played so bad tonight. I dead ass wanted to get on here and change my pick tonight. Like, I wanted to be like, yo, I'm not taking Miami to win this series, bro. I'm taking Boston. That's how irritated the guards on this team. And I just really don't know what happened to Victor Oladipo's shot, man. That motherfucker couldn't hit nothing. Missed a free throw. That motherfucker finished with like 4 points, bro. I'm like, man, Victor, what happened to your shot? I appreciate you playing defense, but hitting a shot or two wouldn't hurt either. It's always funny when I'm listening to Chuck say, the Mavs hit some shots, they'll be fine. I think that's every team, buddy. Every team hit shots, they'd be fine. But this series, man, that tweet that I saw when Buddy was like, yo, this is carnage every possession. I'm like, yo, that's a fucking fact, because this is a headache watching this fucking circus right now. Yo, I watched a fucking video on Twitter. And I'm not putting it in this video. I'm never watching that video again, as a matter of fact, seeing as how it was real. Plus, I could feel it the whole video watching it. Some bozo kept putting his fingers in a lion cage or whatever, in a lion enclosure, and then finally his one finger got caught in the lion's mouth, and that motherfucking lion ripped this motherfucker's finger off, bro. And they showed the whole encounter of the dude pulling to try to get his finger out the lion's mouth. I'm surprised the lion didn't open up and try to grab his whole hand. But he took the dude's finger off, bro. They showed that shit in slow motion, bro. That shit was disgusting, bro. Like, that was fucking horrific because it wasn't a movie and it was real. And I'm like, why is this on Twitter right now, bro? That shit was stomach turning. And I was eating too, bruh. So was I eating? Nah, I wasn't eating. I had to take a sip of water, though, after I saw it. And I had to hit the blunt because I was like, yo, that was disgusting. What would possess that man to put his finger in that lion enclosure? Like, I understand people love playing dumbass games, but why was that the dumbass game you wanted to play on this day? Like, why? Did you really value your finger that? Did you devalue your finger that much to where you was like, the greatest chance, the worst thing that could happen is my finger getting caught in this motherfucker's mouth and him ripping it off. And you said that's not that bad. What? Couldn't be me, man. Couldn't be me. Also, before we get back to the games, I want to point out something else. Soda in cans, like say you get a Cheerwine, right? Cheerwine in the cans, not in the cans. Cheerwine in the glass bottles are disgusting compared to Cheerwines in the bottle. Or say you get a Sun Drop in the bottle. But now, for one, I understand sometimes why people be like, now Sun Drop is the only soda that I drink when I'm drinking sodas. I love Sun Drop. But I do understand some people saying they don't like Sun Drop, because I done went to some stores that done had some expired Sun Drops on their shelves, because that's not a soda that people drink. So they'll have a whole bunch of Sun Drops that's just been sitting there for 2, 3, 4 months. And they done lost the taste that they were supposed to have. So when I get them, the owner won't tell me how long they've been sitting there. So when I drink it and I open it up, either it's flat. I done went to a store that was selling straight up flat Sun Drops. Nothing but flat Sun Drops. And then I go to a store that's selling a Sun Drop that ain't flat yet, but it have done, the taste is just, it's a new taste profile. It do not taste like it's supposed to taste. And so, when I'm in Winston, bro, that's the worst place to get Sun Drops, bro, dead ass. It's none of the stores down there do Sun Drops the right way. It's they all selling expired Sun Drops, and that's a travesty, to be honest with you. But, y'all saw that Glenn Big Baby ass shot? I wonder what would possess him to do such a thing. Anyways, I don't know who win in Game 4 in this in this Heat series, bro. Who gonna be healthy? Who playing? Who not playing? Will anything come of the Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum whatever you want to call those things that happen to them. Will anything come of that? This is just a hard series to predict right now. Not really, because Boston is the better team when they decide to play like it. I even think when they not, like, this is my thing. Boston, especially if Jimmy Butler not playing, even with Jimmy, sometimes they're still the better team. Just because of how their guards are way better than the guards that Miami put on the floor, not named Kyle Lowry. And even though Oladipo can stop motherfuckers, he can't score. And that is a problem. So, I'm expecting Boston to come out there and win their second home game at home. But boy, it's going to be an interesting finish to the season. And then we get to game 2 of the Golden State Mavericks series. Now, see, this is what I'm talking about, man. I liked what happened in this game. For one, we came back and won because we got that dog in us. Certified bullies over here, you heard? But yeah, of course we came back because we got that dog in us. No lead is really safe against the Warriors. That's what I've learned, because this team is so great at playing from behind. Like, it really is a skill. They don't panic. They don't shoot up a bunch of stupid, ill-advised shots. They continue to stick to their game plan. You have to blow. Kenny Smith said something that was so smart. He said you have a 5-minute window when you play the Warriors where you have to play defense. And if you can survive those 5 minutes and lock down in those 5 minutes, you'll probably win the game. Because you can't just be blowing the Warriors out and then letting them inch back. You have to beat the Warriors by just completely blowing them out. You cannot give these motherfuckers a chance or life or hope. Because Curry kept them alive in the first half of this game. Like, we probably lose this game if not for Curry keeping us alive in the beginning of this game. And then in the third quarter, where the Warriors shine, we shined again. I don't know what it is about Steve Kerr, man, but this motherfucker is a third quarter god. What he get us doing in this third quarter is Peyton Manning. Like how Peyton Manning saw what you did to him in the first half and was like, I got you now, bitch. That's Steve Kerr. And I think they went on a 68-35 scoring thing in the second half. That's what the thing, I believe. I got to check it. But boy, that type of win for the Warriors is just championship pedigree showing there, like the game never over until it's over. But specifically, in the first half of that game, the Mavericks hit a lot of shots. Like, the Mavericks hit a lot of three-pointers. You know how people were saying, in the first game, the only reason they lost is because they missed those three-pointers. In the second game, they're going to hit them, then they'll win. Well, they hit them in the second game. But they couldn't hit. So now the new excuse is, and they lost. So the new excuse is going to be, well, if they hit them all game, then they'll win. It's funny to me. Some of these ways to victory for the Mavs that people keep coming up with. Now, I expect the Mavs to win a game in Dallas. I do not expect the Mavs to win both games in Dallas. And I'm telling you, bro, I do not give a fuck about Steph's. I do want Steph to ball out, play good and all that, but I'm not as focused on Steph as I am this Mavericks team. I'm not focused on Luka as I am focused on the Mavs as a whole. Because I just got to understand, I have to see this series go 7 to understand what these motherfucking analysts have been talking about. You got motherfuckers like Nick Wright getting on TV talking about that the Warriors going to lose this series in 5. Meaning they were going to win 1 game and lose 4 games and win 1 and lose it. Like, that was wild to me. But then I'm watching another dude who on YouTube who do shows after every single one of the games. And he predicted that the Mavs was going to win this series, I believe. And if he didn't, he talked like he think the Mavs going to win. He just won't commit to it like a lot of people keep doing for some reason. But He think that the Mavs are about to win both of their home games in Dallas. And I don't really understand. So they going off of the Mavs. They giving the Mavs a lot. They going everything. They did this against the Suns. They did this against the Suns. The Warriors don't want a home game. A road game. Every year they've been in the playoffs with Steve Kerr. They win on the other team's home court. They don't want a home game, and they don't want a road game every playoff series so far this year. But they're not leaning on that. They leaning on the Mavs winning their home games in the last round. And so that's interesting to me. That half-assed narrative in whatever you want to call it. I was creating a word. Narrated ending, whatever. But that's interesting to me. But then, because I just, bruh, when Warriors losing in 5 was just ignorant. But this dude saying that he think the Mavs going to go home and win these next 2 games in Dallas, like, that's not ignorant to me. I'm not even mad that he said it or nothing like that. I really want to see why he, like, I guess for me I'm not saying that the Mavericks is a bad team. I think the Mavericks are a good team. Bad teams don't get to this point. But I don't think that they a championship contending team yet. I really think that people are not looking hard enough into this CP3 thing. Like, CP3's sudden decline is the only reason the Mavs beat this team. Or Phoenix. Like, as great as Luka was, if Chris Paul does not randomly have his decline, the Suns do not lose that series. Now, I'm not somebody who deal in those type of things, but that's not the point that I'm making, is that they would have won if he was healthy. The point I'm making is that's something you have to take into account, though. Like, you can't just say Luka dominated the series and that is what it was. Like, no, something else happened in that series. And if you take that into account, then you are saying that's like, because what I'm saying is they basically saying the Warriors is the same team as the fucking Suns to just be trying to say, because for one, picking 7 games just to be safe is ignorant. Because just because a team is in this spot don't mean it. It's no way you look at the Mavs and you look at the Warriors and say this is a 7-game series. It's no way. Like, if the Warriors decide to just not shoot the ball good at all in Dallas and just play 2 horrific games, then you got me. But I just don't see the Warriors playing 2 terrible games in Dallas. And I also don't see them going to Dallas and losing both games. And I hear people say, oh, the season matchups don't matter. Like, Nick Wright literally said the season matchups didn't matter when it was Dallas taking on Phoenix, because Phoenix squashed Dallas in the season. Now he is using the Dallas's wins against the Warriors in the regular season for playoff fodder, I guess you would call it. And I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Like, this motherfucker's a flaming fucking hypocrite and a fucking walking contradiction. Like, you just said the season shit don't matter. Now it do, obviously. Like, I really have to see that. Dallas is a good team. They shoot a lot of shots. I'm interested in this series, man. Obviously, I want the Warriors to win, and I do think the Warriors will win. These next 2 games in Dallas, as a sports fan, as in somebody who actually, take his bias out of the games and try to be as critical a thinker and, as free a thinker when it comes to these things and open-minded as I possibly can, looking at all the great ways Dallas can be, all the worst ways they can be, all the great, vice versa for the war. I don't see what some of these people see in Luka. I mean, not Luka in the Mavs. I think what it is people trying to be ahead of the curve on Luka, but Luka already great. We knew that last year. And then they'll sit there and say team, but saying, I don't understand it. But it was a great win by the Warriors coming back. Now, what's funny is Jordan Poole do a lot of childish shit throughout this series so far. But I'm glad at least he, they're going to have to get him under control at some point in time. Be like, JP, you got to calm down, bro. Like, Jordan, at one certain point, the other game, Draymond asked, but he was like, why? And it's funny because Draymond ended up fouling out last night. Draymond played quite a goofy game last night. A rare goof by big dog Draymond. And I hate saying that because Draymond, one of the more cerebral, one of the smartest players in the game. It was weird that he put himself in that situation. But the crazy thing is, people keep saying, oh, well, Dallas will win if this happened and this happened. But I'm like, Clay really haven't been great yet. Neither has Jordan Poole. Neither has Dre. Like, what if those motherfuckers end up showing up and having great games? Do you still believe Dallas will win even with that? I don't know, man. What I want to see is when this series ends, I have to see everybody who said the Mavericks was going to win. I need to see every single one of them after this series. Especially if this shit don't go 7. Now, if the Mavericks come back in this series from 2 down and win all, and I understand people say, oh, a series don't start to the home team, to the road team win a road game. I get all that. If the Mavericks win this series from 2 down, because it'll have to go 7 in my mind, the Mavericks not about to win 4 games in a row. Like, it's no way the Warriors are about to just lose 4 fucking games in a row. That's why it's hard for me to see Dallas winning this series. But especially seeing Dallas go back to Dallas. Like, if this was LeBron, bro, I just can't see it. I'm sorry. I'm not hating on the Mavericks. I just don't see them winning this series or seeing them going back to Dallas winning both games in Dallas. They looked like they were blowing out the Warriors. And listen, I think one of the Warriors' problems is for some fucking reason this team start hella slow. They start slow. They don't maintain it sometimes. And I think I heard somebody say, I can't remember which analyst it was, when you can go off on a clip that they can go off, you get sloppy sometimes. Because you know you can put up so many points so quick in such a short amount of time that you get lazy, you get bored, and yada, yada, yada. I really wish the Warriors would cut that shit out along with these goddamn turnovers that they so notorious for. Aside from that, I really think, like, I do believe Dallas is going to win one of these home games. Both of them would be wild to me. But like I said, I was going to be shocked if Dallas had won a game and Phoenix, them motherfuckers ended up winning the whole series. So listen, if it happened, it happened. And I will get on here and be the first one to let you know that I was wrong. I did not see none of that shit coming. But boy, that would be more shocking than them winning a game against Phoenix to me. Because once Chris Paul basically had his decline, that was not out of the realm of possibility anymore. If these motherfuckers, Dallas win this series, I'll be shocked. If this series go to 7, I will be shocked. If Dallas win both home games, I will be shocked. Because this, like, bruh, this ain't even my Warrior fandom. The Warriors just look like the better team to me on paper. Like, if the Warriors play bad for a whole game, yeah, I can see it. Like, this is the same team that lost by like 40-something fucking points and was down like 56 points against the Grizzlies. But it just feel like if the Warriors do what they supposed to do, they hit shots. Now, one of the things I'm not a fan of is the officiating. They give Luka a lot of calls at times where it's like, man, he did not get fouled, bruh. And plus, you letting other people play through that, but you're not letting Luka play through it. You letting him go to the line for this, but other people. And I understand superstar calls. But anytime superstar calls end up affecting outcomes of games and start affecting momentum in games, that's a problem. Like, and now, to me, the bigger problem for them is this defense. Like, that's my thing. When the Warriors settle in defensively and they settle in and start getting their offense going and they hitting shots and they moving the ball and whatnot, I just think that's too hard for the Dallas to keep up with, especially when you have to have Luka Doncic on the floor and they will not let this motherfucker rest. I even think the game could be even more interesting for the Warriors if they decided to legitimately go all in on making that motherfucker Luka work. Like, we are hunting you down. Because the thing about the Warriors, they have a unique offense in which they can put Luka into action all the time. Because all the ball movement, all the cuts. Luka don't look terrible in this series defensively. Terrible. He let dudes just... And I saw Jay Wright, I think it was, the other day, was like, Luka don't look like he done quit on multiple possessions defensively. Yeah, that's because he is. He just stopped playing. He throw his hands up and be like, oh, I was fouled, or something like that. Or when something happened defensively, he let him run right past him, ask for the ball, and keep it moving. I do think he got a lot of James Harden in him. A lot of James Harden in him. And I think that's the biggest reason I could not bring myself to pick them to win this. Because I done seen the Warriors win these type of series against this type of player. The biggest thing for them is Brunson went off last game, right? They still lost. Spencer Dinwiddie, Brunson, Luka, and everybody else going to have to do their job. It's not enough to just be able to score. Dallas can score points. You got to be able to stop the Warriors. And the Warriors don't seem to want to play this three-point game with the Mavericks. They seem to be willing to let the Mavericks shoot until they can't shoot no more, and they're going to attack you in all type of ways. We might get three-pointers. The Warriors been just killing them in the paint. Like, the Warriors seem to want to attack the paint because they know the Mavericks have no paint protectors. And then the Mavericks don't really switch and whatnot well at times. Especially when all these cutting and stuff. Like, the Mavericks been giving up just straight up easy dunks and layups a lot through these first two games. Because how bad they are defensively. And I don't even think the Mavericks is as atrocious on defense as they are when Luka is on the floor. It's because they continuously put Luka in action where, I mean, it just do feel like sometimes Luka don't even try. Because I don't care if you can't play defense, even though Luka is pretty big to be not able. I think Luka's biggest problem is he ain't really. Luka just ain't in as great a shape as he could be. I done said it earlier in the year, like during the postseason. If Luka was like in phenomenal shape, Luka would be even bigger a problem than he already is. Like, Luka just. Listen, I'm not body shaming or nothing like that. Luka clearly is not in as great a shape as he could possibly be in. Didn't they say that motherfucker came in like 260 this year? Like, come on, man. But on top of that, I just don't see, like, bro, I don't see the Warriors doing what Phoenix did. Listen, and that's why I'm saying it's not me going against Dallas. It's me knowing what I don't think the Warriors will do. Like, for one, Phoenix and the Warriors offense is completely different. The Warriors do not rely on one guy to set up the offense for everybody. They rely on everybody to set the offense up for everybody, meaning they more so rely on a system. And they have guys in their system who can play outside the system when the time calls for it. CP3 is the system for Phoenix, and they got one dude who can play outside the system at times, and that's Devin Booker. But CP3 is who get that offense going. When CP3 having a great game, the offense probably having a great game. Because CP3 is the floor general. That team has built his offense around its floor general. He is the dude who make it happen for them. He know what plays to call. He know what to run. He know what to do. That's the beauty of that team. However, once he started hitting his decline, it was very evident, and that fucked up the offense, and it hurt the team because he is such the integral part and such a big part of that offense. It's like anything. If you have a machine that relies on one part, like the one part of that machine they rely on the most that can shut everything down, you want to do everything you can to make sure that part and don't nothing happen to it. Because if something happened to that one part, everything else go. Well, that was Chris Paul for the Suns. That is not the Warriors. Like, I'm looking at motherfuckers say Steph Curry got to average 35. No, he don't. Steph could average 20 in this series, and they could win this series in less than 6 games or in less than 7 games because of the system. You always see people complaining about, oh, this superstar ain't got no help. Oh, this star ain't got no help. But then you get an unselfish superstar like Steph Curry, who is a big part of, and then you just see the draft picks and whatnot that's done blossom because of Steph Curry's willingness to be unselfish and be a superstar who understand. I could put up crazy numbers if I was more selfish and I played more ISO ball and whatnot. But the game is so much easier when everybody else is being able to feel like they are contributing, feeling like they have a role in the offense. Now, because Jordan Poole is always in the action, because we always was relying on now he don't feel like when we come to him late in the game, it ain't oh man, I don't know if I can hit this because I ain't shot in like the last 3 quarters. Everybody feel like when they get the ball as their opportunity, they run and they cutting harder, they screening harder because they know if they get open, the ball will find them and they will be in control of their own destiny. You hit the shots, we going to keep running these plays and trying to get you open. You don't hit the shots, you might still get open, but you're not specifically going to have to play. It's just going to be free-flowing offense like it always is. Everybody setting screens, getting open, cutting, and all that type shit. That's why Otto Porter can come into the game late and knock down a shot and make such huge contributions. And I also think that's the importance of veteran leadership and championship leadership. Not just veteran leadership, championship leadership. Dudes that's done been to the top of the mountain and know what it took to get there. Like, that's important in my opinion. Because when you have dudes like who done been there, done that, and they are champions, legitimate champions, done won it all and play integral parts, bro, they could tell you how this shit go. They could get you through. You know what I'm saying? That's why a team like the Warriors can get to come back from 20 plus down. Because they done been there, they done play. And that's why I said in the beginning of the series, I was like, man, it's so crazy to me that people basically saying they won't be able to stop Luka, but I done seen this team beat LeBron James. And all respect to Luka, Luka is not better than those LeBron James was at that time to me. Like, I'm seeing people say that they think he is, and I'm like, that is wild. Do y'all forget? Y'all was trying to get LeBron James the MVP of a finals he lost. What are we doing right now? And here's my question. If Luka was in the East, do you think he would have just walked through the East like LeBron was doing? Because I don't. Like, as much as motherfuckers like to talk about, oh, if this dude was hurt and this dude was hurt and this dude was... I just don't... I just don't see that same energy for this Chris Paul decline in that series. Because that played a lot to do with Dallas. And as good as I think Luka is and as good as Dallas might be, I don't think Dallas was better than the Bucks. I don't think they're better than Miami. Actually, they are better than Miami. Not if Miami is fully healthy. And I don't think they're better than Boston. Don't think they're better than the Warriors. Don't think they were better than Phoenix, but Chris Paul just had a random decline in the series. But that's not me disrespecting Dallas or saying that I don't think they're good. That's just me saying I don't think this series going 7. But game 3 tomorrow night or tonight. Who do I got winning that game? I got listen, I'm just showing you I'm not no safe pick type of motherfucker. I think the Warriors are going to come out strong. I think the Warriors might play game 3 might be the Warriors' best game. Like the Warriors had an unbelievable fourth quarter where they basically only missed 2 shots. I think they went 15 for 17 in the fourth quarter of game 2. I think they carry that over in game 3. I think the Warriors play great in game 3 and bring home game 3. Game 4 could be the fishy one, but I definitely think the Warriors come out strong because they champions. They know if they can get game 3. See, that's my thing. People keep talking, oh, these fill-out games, and you don't know how these games. Those are people who've never won championships. champions don't look at game one as fill-out games. They look at, if we the home team, we better win that first fucking game and the second one. It ain't no fill-out. We don't know how first games could go. And what? I heard somebody say that one time, and I said to myself, I wonder did Jordan ever say to himself, well, fellas, or Phil Jackson said to the team, well, fellas, we don't really know how game one gonna go, but go out there and try hard and try to figure it out. What? No, motherfucker. We gonna go out there and win game one. Like, the media a bunch of bozos, man. But I think the Warriors gonna play good in game 3. I think all 3 Warriors, I think Steph, Clay, and Curry gonna all go off. I said Steph, Clay, and Curry. I think Steph, Poole, and Clay are going to have strong game 3s. I really do. I think games 3 Golden State going to come out with a point to prove. Like, yo, we are the better team. We are the championship team. Y'all have a great player, but it ain't his time yet. We are still the team to beat in the West. And I feel like the Warriors got to start taking this shit personal. Dead ass, bro. They got to start taking this shit personal. For one, y'all said we wasn't never going to get back to this point anyways. When KD left, y'all told us that was the end for us. Oh, KD gone. That's the end of the Warriors dynasty. They'll never be back to a final. Steph Curry better be happy with the titles he won because he'll never get back to another one. Everybody was hurt the next couple years. Everybody, oh, Steph Curry not a good player no more. His legacy is in question. He's not even a top 50 player. Oh, is he even top 20? Oh, Steph Curry needed every... And here we are. Here we are. But with that, I appreciate y'all so much for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Game 2s. We had the games 2, game 3s. We talked a lot of basketball, basically, man. I appreciate y'all for joining me. We will be back to break down game 3 of Golden State, Dallas, tomorrow. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Saint out.
How the fuck I pay a couple card notes and ain't even whipping? How the fuck I'm putting food on the table while I ain't living? Cursed from being alone with these dreams of a happy home. So when I think it's really love, I give them anything they want. I got stupid shit I did as a kid defining me lately. When I try to open up a new chapter, they still hate me. My mental, my only drug, so I'm doing this shit alone. Last time I fought depression, and she got me on my zone. One bad move from thuggery, hit record from luxury. Pop said some shit that stuck with me. All it take is a mustard seed. Yesterday I copped $40 of pot those. Homie in